It's a perfect situation to make musical sounds.
Hello, this is Liz. Welcome to my little urban homestead. It's the Monday after Christmas and I went shopping at my local grocery store, basically because I wanted to see if there were any specials on, because supermarkets will buy extras so that they've got enough stock, and then after the event, i.e. Christmas, they've got surplus, so they reduce items to get rid of them. So this big bag of spinach was £2.40, now reduced to 72p. Now I've got other things as well as this spinach, but this is what I'm showing today. It says ready to eat. Now I take that as being it's already been washed, but I'm going to wash it again. This is tepid water that's got vinegar in, about quarter to half a cup of vinegar, white vinegar. And it just means that if there are any little nasties in there, the vinegar will help kill them off. And what I do now is I leave it to soak for about 10 minutes, which is what it's had. Cook o'clock again. Then I get my colander. It says in the book you should steam these for about 3 to 5 minutes, but I know what I'm going to use these for, and I am powdering these down, so I don't think it's going to do any good for me for what I want them to do. So I'm not going to blanch these, because spinach goes off so fast, and it's to me a delicate leaf. So I'm going to dehydrate and powder these down. So I'll leave this to drain. In fact, I'll get my other bowl out because there's quite a bit here. I'll leave this to drain now for a few minutes before I get ready to put on my dehydrator. I also got some curly kale, which was £1.20 reduced to 30p. I've got 2 lots of this, and while the spinach is draining, I'm going to soak the kale. And when I put the kale in the colanders to drain, I'll check that I haven't got any thick stalks. There's quite a thick stalk, and I'll pull them out, but at the moment I'm just going to leave them there together with these leaves just to drain for a bit. Now we've had 10 minutes draining, and you can see just from this small amount how much water has come off them just by leaving them for a while. So now I get a clean, dry tea towel and put them on. And there's still loads of leaves stuck to there. And just gently put them in there. What I'm trying to do is absorb as much of the water as possible so it doesn't overwork my dehydrator. Trying to dry the water that I put on them to wash them. And I'll leave them in this tea towel for a bit, just to get off some more of the water. So hold them up, and that's one batch, and I'll get the other batch ready. I've been soaking these tea towels for, well, they've been sitting in these tea towels for a while, so now I use these crispers, and I think they're called, and I'm just loading up my trays. Sorry about that. I'm not making sure they're individually there. I'm just spreading them out thinly. It. Another one of them, same again, and I'll do that with all my trays, because this dehydrator, you can have them either very close together, or in this case I'm having them a little bit further apart, the trays, so it allows space for the air to get round. So I'll load all the trays up now, but you can see how wet this tea towel has got. So that's all moisture that my dehydrator will not have to work to get off the spinach. So I've got, out of that bag of spinach, I've got 5 trays of spinach. And the 6th one, I haven't got another one of them plastic things that I use in it. So I've used a net curtain which will stop any of them falling through. And I put some kale on it. Now any big bits of stems or any bits that I don't like, such as that, I've pulled off. You can either compost these, but I'm turning these into eggs because I'm going to feed them to the chickens. But there it is, 6 tray full. So I'll now turn it on. So I'm 50 at the moment, and I want it 52, 51, 52, and the timer is set for 10 hours. So, but before then I'll be changing the trays around because it's in the kitchen and I'm working in here today. I'll be keeping a check on it. As it was late last night when I was starting these, I didn't actually start them until evening time, so they go overnight, and it's now the following morning. And these are very crispy, very dry. So I have this attachment that goes onto my food processor. So I'm just going to load it up and then grind it down to powder. As you can hear, they are quite dry. Sounds like you're walking in autumn leaves. Just whenever I've dehydrated anything, I always put one of these silicone mats underneath when I'm emptying it, so that anything falls on it. So I've now emptied 2 trays in my little blender. You just screw the bottom on, the blades on, and then set it in till it clicks, and then now when you're powdering these up, 2 things can happen. One, the powder flies up, so allow them to settle first. And 2, it can get fairly hot with the blades going round. So I'm going to put my powder on some greaseproof paper, and then I'll be putting it back on the dehydrator when it's all done. So that's what I've got from 2 trays so far, and I'll do the others. So the powder, I've put on this greaseproof paper, cut a hole in the middle of it to allow the air to move. When I was sorting them out, there was a few that weren't dry, so I'm putting them back on. And the bottom tray is kale, which still isn't quite dry yet. So I'm just going to leave this going for another few hours, and then I can powder this lot up out of that big bag of spinach. That's about half a pint of dehydrated spinach powder, which will go in stews, stocks, casseroles. Add some to when I make lasagna or spaghetti bolognese, anything I want to. I've got it there, and at a fraction of the price. I also did 1 tray of kale, and that's now in there. My dehydrator is full again, just about to go on. I've got 3 trays of kale, which I'll powder down and add to this. Move that, you can see it's better because it's green. I've got 2 trays of celery, more in the fridge to do tomorrow when this is done, and a tray of tomatoes, more in the fridge to do when this is done. So when this lot's done, I've got another load to do. Yay! Thank you. Bye.
It's a perfect system. situation to make